How do we coordinate and integrate all those multiple arts and suppliers? Well, there are a number of mechanisms built into the value stream layer here. One is pre and post planning. So you see over here this little bubble that we've indicated. This is the PI boundary, and there's planning that happens down here. Well, this is a better graphic. That's why we drew it. Going into PI planning, if multiple arts are going to plan, we're going to need to provide some view of a coordinated backlog because they're cooperating on building a single system. They are not islands for sure. There's only one solution out here. So consequently, we need to inform each art what the expectations are, and that happens during pre-planning. So pre and post-planning are typically attended by, you see the list here, customers, value stream engineers, value stream stakeholders, select representatives from arts and suppliers, anybody you need to know that the plan we're about to put to work here is good. The pre-planning helps us build an aligned plan for the next PI. We can help match solution demand to the actual art capacities. That's a good thing. That means that we're starting to modulate input to match the output capability. Post-planning comes at this point and is a review and recap of what we've learned. And sometimes we learn things. We always learn things. And sometimes there might be a little bit of feedback back. Sometimes it might be is that didn't quite come together the way we thought, so please take this into consideration. Do we stop and replan? No, I've never really seen that. I guess you could in a worst case. But when we integrate the plans and we do our post-planning and say, do we have a holistic approach to this next kind of increment of the solution? If this is my solution, this is my increment. Is there a holistic approach to that? Is there integrity amongst all those features? Can I call that value, or did I just do a bunch of APIs and interfaces? Sometimes we do provide that feedback, and sometimes it requires some modest adjustments to the regular plans. Let's look very briefly at the PI planning structure. What are the goals? To get alignment. Alignment amongst the product managers, the system architects, and the other art stakeholders. Prepare the content. So teams and arts have their own PI planning backlogs, but we want to see those and influence them and probably have a value stream backlog of our own to contribute. Inputs of the process are the results of the previous PI execution. We know what we achieved in the prior period. We've seen solution demo, art demos. We've seen program predictability measures, various other measures in the value stream as well. Output, a set of features for every art. So what we're communicating at that point through pre-planning is that you know what features you're delivering. You may or may not have communicated to those. Here's the set that's also necessary to build that larger solution. So in each case, we understand the features that go into the art. And updates to the art visions, because we've done some planning now and we're about to communicate to the teams themselves what the vision is for the art. We need to be able to express that to those teams so they know what it is they need to build. Post-planning, you can see a format there. Goals, understand the plan, right? What was really achieved there? Are there adjustments necessary? Probably. Nobody could see the bigger picture until we did the post-planning. We couldn't look at the results of planning until planning was done. That's why it's called post-planning. So we may need to make some adjustments. What's the input to that? Program P objectives from all arts. So we know that as a result of the planning process that precedes this, every program has PI objectives. So I don't necessarily need to look down at the feature, even the capability level. I can look only at the program PI objective level to understand that. Value stream planning board, just like the program board we described, may lay out the dependencies amongst the various arts in the value streams. Unresolved program risk and confidence votes, same thing. A smaller group of stakeholders, people working solely at the value stream level, but a very similar process. And you can see that. They don't do the actual planning because they don't do the actual work, but they do the pre-planning and the post-planning to make sure that the pre-planning lines up the work they want to see done, and the post-planning is used to validate that and make adjustments as necessary. What's the output of this process? A consolidated set of value stream PI objectives, aggregating up across the entire value stream what we're going to accomplish in this next period. A single PI, we know what we're going to build next. Set of adjustments for the plans, that output is fed back to the teams. And finally, we can update the roadmap so we can start to see the value stream evolve based upon the result of the aggregate planning. So that's pre and post planning. Let's move on to the solution demo. Well, I suspect this is pretty obvious to you now, and I mentioned it briefly before. At the top of the stack here is a big fat solution. How do we know that it's iterating? Well, very simple. We're going to create a cadence-based event. In the life of the solution, it will be demonstrated many times. It will be demonstrated every PI at whatever frequency you determine that is. Now, this is a fully integrated solution. We have to show accomplishments of the previous program increment across all arts. This is a big deal. This is a satellite on a bench talking to the ground station next to you, talking to the web farm that feeds that data. altogether. So now I know, if the satellite actually acquired that data, I could feed that to that user of that type. Senior managers and high-profile stakeholders, everybody loves this demo because this is what we're building. We invested, who knows, $11 million in the last PI, and boom, we better have $11 million worth of value, and it should work. That solution should work, and it should run. And given that objective evidence, we're going to make key decisions. We're going to decide to, increase funding, keep funding steady state, take other corrective actions, decrease funding or whatever is necessary based upon the current business case and the validation that occurs at the solution demo time. Now, how do you get there? Well, it takes frequent integration, obviously. You can't just get to the demo, integrate a couple days before, and achieve that result. So it's going to take some effort. We're going to have to understand that maybe we do this every week. Maybe it's only every other week. Maybe it's only one midpoint. It depends so much on the topology of the solution and the environments that we have to support that frequent integration. But we know we want to do it because it's our best objective evidence. It's how we achieve a result that says this is a working solution. It's everybody's responsibilities, right? The arts and the value stream, if the value stream has its own system teams, which is pretty likely in that big case, that satellite builder. I'm sure there's system teams at all the at the value stream level as well as the arts, and they may work together to pull that integration. Why do we do it? Simply early validation and regular risk reduction. And why do we do it? Because it increases actual velocity, which is the goal. It eliminates or dramatically reduces the risk of late discovery. It means that our velocity is a real velocity because that demo worked and that demo worked. So we're not going to come back and revisit all that and go back 8 weeks in time and sort out why it was that we faked our way through this or we didn't demo the thing that turned out to cause us to crash and burn at the end. Again, all focused to achieve fast feedback. And we shouldn't be surprised to see a value stream inspect and adapt either. If the inspect and adapt is to the program, what the retro is to the team, well, what is this to the value stream? It's a pretty important deal. It is a time to look at the entire results across all arts, right, in building a solution. So I have a solution demo. Based upon that actual working solution demo, I can inspect and adapt. Same three parts that we saw before: the solution demo, the retrospective, the problem-solving workshop, same basic structure. Stakeholders may be a little bit different. They may be representatives from the arts and suppliers. They may be certain business stakeholders or maybe program participants from the customers. Could be anyone that needs to contribute and can participate in that, but they're people that can solve problems. They're the people that can participate in the redesign or do scope management or change customer requirements or manage expectations either way. Portfolio stakeholders may also attend. Maybe there's funding fiduciaries, and this is a really big program. We're spending a lot of money coming to this point. I'll bet people are really interested on feedback. Is it ROI yet? Well, not yet, because we haven't really monetized the system, but is my customer happy? Do they have a big smile on their face of what they saw? Or are they going, or are they going, not so happy, okay? So our fiduciaries are going to worry about that. They're going to say, okay, that guy's going to probably continue to pay. Need to understand this. Red alert, they're not happy. Funding is going to go away. They're not going to pay. Something bad is going to happen.